The sky over Bizen burned red and orange. Daisung pressed his back against the broken concrete wall and checked his rifle. 3 magazines left. Maybe enough, maybe not. It didn't matter much anymore. The screaming had stopped an hour ago. That was worse than the screaming. He was 28 years old and tired. Not the kind of tired that sleep could fix. The kind that settled into bones and made everything feel heavy. His unit had been 40 soldiers that morning. Now he crouched alone in the ruins of what used to be a shopping district where his mother had bought in clothes for school. The Vrexian walkers moved through the smoke like metal giants. Each step shook the ground. Their weapons hummed with a sound that made his teeth hurt. Daesung had watched those weapons turn his friends into ash. Quick, at least. Better than some ways to die. His radio crackled. Captain Young-Seek's voice came through broken and weak. Daesung, you still breathing? Yes, sir. Good. Listen carefully. I'm in the command bunker. Hit bad. Not gonna make it out. Young-Seek coughed, and the radio filled with static. There's something here you need to protect. More important than me. More important than you. Daesung looked at the burning sky. Sir, the evacuation ships are leaving. We should shut up and listen, Corporal. Young-Seek's voice got stronger, like he was using his last energy. In the bunker, there's a metal case. Silver, about this big. He must have been showing the size with his hands, forgetting Daesung couldn't see him. It has the UN seal on it. Inside is a flag. The original flag from when Earth unified. The actual first one. You understand. A flag, sir? Don't be stupid. Symbols matter. When everything else is gone, symbols are what people remember. The Vrexians, they don't just kill us. They erase us. Every monument, every flag, every damn thing that says we existed. This flag cannot fall into their hands. Cannot be destroyed. You get me? Daesung watched another walker step on what used to be his school. Sir, I'm just a soldier. Send someone else. Someone important. You're who's left. That makes you important enough. Young-Seek coughed again, longer this time. The bunker is 2 blocks north. Big metal door with the yellow stripe. Code is 8274. Get the case. Protect it. Promise me. I promise, sir. Good man. The radio went quiet for a moment. Then Young-Seek spoke one last time. It was an honor, Daesung. The radio went dead. Daesung ran through the ruins. Smoke burned his lungs. Heat from fires made the air shimmer. He saw bodies, but didn't look at faces. Couldn't afford to recognize anyone. 2 blocks felt like 2 kilometers. A Vrexian patrol passed 1 street over. He hid behind a burned-out car and held his breath. The aliens talked in their clicking language. Then they moved on. The bunker door stood half buried in rubble. Daesung cleared the debris with bleeding hands and punched in the code. The door groaned open. Inside was dark and smelled like copper. He turned on his helmet light. Captain Young-Seek sat against the far wall. His uniform was soaked red. His eyes were open, but didn't see anything anymore. In his lap was the silver case, held tight even in death. I got it, sir, Daesung whispered. He gently pulled the case free and opened it. Inside, folded carefully, was a flag. Blue and white with a symbol of Earth in the center. The fabric was old, but well kept. Someone had loved this flag, protected it. Now that job belonged to him. The ground shook. Not from walkers. Something bigger. Daesung ran to the bunker's observation slit and looked up. The sky tore open with light. Earth's orbital defense stations exploded one by one like dying stars. Ships fell from space trailing fire. The evacuation fleet was breaking through, but barely. He was being left behind. He knew it now for certain. Daesung sat down next to Young-Seek's body and held the case. "What am I supposed to do with this?" he asked the dead man. No answer came. Hours passed. Night fell, but the city kept burning bright. Soon heard the walkers getting closer. Heard alien voices. They were searching building by building. Eventually, they would find the bunker. He had 3 magazines of ammunition. He could take maybe 10 of them before they killed him. He opened the case again and looked at the flag. All those colors. All that meaning. Earth had spent 200 years fighting itself before finally coming together under this symbol. Every nation, every people, every difference set aside. One species, one flag, one chance at the stars. And they had lost. Dae-soon closed his eyes. He thought about his family. His mother who made kimchi every autumn. His father who taught him to fix motorcycles. His sister who wanted to be a teacher. All gone in the first week of the invasion. He thought about his friends from school, from the army, from the neighborhood. How many were left? How many flags remained? The bunker door exploded inward. Light flooded in, harsh and white. Dae-soon grabbed his rifle, but something hit him hard. He crashed against the wall and tasted blood. Rexian soldiers poured in, their armor gleaming, their weapons pointed at his head. One alien stepped forward, taller than the others. Its armor had markings that probably meant rank. When it spoke, a translator box on its chest turned the clicks into Korean. "Human, you are defeated. Surrender." Dae-soon held the case against his chest. "No." The alien tilted its head, curious. It stepped closer and looked at the case. Then at Dae-soon. "What is in the container?" "Nothing that concerns you." The alien made a sound like laughter. It reached out one clawed hand. "Give it to me." Dae-soon held tighter. "You'll have to kill me first." The alien stopped. It studied Dae-soon for a long moment. Then it made a gesture, and the other soldiers lowered their weapons. "I am Kelthron, war priest of the Dominion. You interest me, human." Such defiance for such a small thing. What makes it valuable? You wouldn't understand. Perhaps. But I wish to learn. Kelthron gestured again. "Take him. Keep him alive. And bring the container. I want to know what is worth dying for." Rough hands grabbed Dae-soon. They took his weapons, his gear, everything except the case. He fought and screamed, but there were too many. They dragged him from the bunker, past Young-sik's body, out into the burning night. The last thing Dae-soon saw of Earth was smoke and fire and the metal feet of walkers crushing everything humanity had built. He held the case against his chest and promised himself one thing. They could take his planet. They could take his life. But they would never take this flag. Never make him forget what Earth had been. That promise was all he had left. The prison moon of Kara's 9 looked like a metal tumor growing on dead rock. Dae-soon watched it grow larger through the transport ship's small window. He had been traveling for 3 weeks, crammed in a cell with 20 other prisoners from different worlds. Some looked almost human. Others were nothing like anything he had imagined. They all smelled like fear and despair. The flag was still with him. He had wrapped it around his body under the rough prison uniform they gave him. The fabric pressed against his skin, warm and real. They had searched him twice, but never made him strip completely. Small mercy in a merciless situation. When they arrived, the guards herded them into processing. A huge chamber carved from rock, lit by harsh blue lights. Hundreds of prisoners shuffled in lines. Aliens of every shape shouted orders in dozens of languages. Translator boxes screeched and stuttered trying to keep up. A human voice cut through the noise. "Keep moving. Don't make eye contact. Don't fight back." They soon turned. A woman, maybe 35, with short black hair and scars across her face. She was in line next to him. Korean, he thought by her features. "Who are you?" He whispered. Hannah, Mars colonies. Been here 3 years. Listen to what I tell you, and you might survive 3 more. She looked at him carefully. You're from Earth. What's left of it? Nothing's left of it. Rexians burned it clean 2 months ago. Hannah's voice was matter-of-fact, like she was talking about weather. Every city, every monument, every flag and symbol. All gone. Standard procedure. They erase cultures. Makes people easier to control when they forget who they were. The flag pressed against Daesung's ribs. He said nothing. They were sorted into work groups. Daesung ended up in mining detail, breaking rocks in tunnels that went deep into the moon. The work was hard and the air was thin. Prisoners collapsed regularly. The guards didn't care. Bodies were dragged away and new prisoners took their place. In his group was a teenage boy, barely 17. Taemin, from Seoul. He had been captured during evacuation, pulled from his mother's arms. His hands were soft, unused to labor. They bled within hours. I can't do this, Taemin whispered on the 3rd day. I'm going to die here. Not today, Daesung said. He took the boy's pickaxe and did double work. His shoulders screamed, but he kept going. In the evening, they were herded into the yard, a massive open space under a force field dome. Thousands of prisoners from hundreds of species. Some gathered in groups by species. Others sat alone. Everyone looked defeated. Hana found him. You're making friends. Dangerous habit. He's just a kid. He's dead weight. We all are. The Vrexians don't want slaves or soldiers. They want us broken. Once we forget who we were, they'll either kill us or turn us into something useful. Hana sat down next to him on the cold ground. You got family off Earth? All dead. Good. Nothing to miss. Nothing to hope for. Makes it easier. Daesung touched his chest where the flag lay hidden. What if I told you not everything was destroyed? What if Earth left something behind? Hana looked at him sharply. Don't talk crazy. They find out you're hiding anything, they'll kill you slow. Would it matter? If there was still a symbol? Something to remember? Symbols. Hana laughed bitterly. I watched the Vrexians burn the Mars Independence Monument. 300 years of history. Turned to ash in seconds. Symbols don't stop bullets or feed hungry people. They're useless. But Daesung saw something in her eyes. A flicker. Not hope exactly, but not total emptiness either. Weeks passed into months. The work broke prisoners' bodies. The thin air broke their minds. Daesung watched species he didn't know the names of give up and die. Watched humans stop speaking Korean or English or any Earth language. Like forgetting the words would make the pain less. Tae-Dashman survived because Daesung kept him alive. The boy turned out to be clever with electronics. Before Earth fell, he had been training as a network engineer. Useless skills in a mine, but he found ways to make things work. Fixed a guard's datapad once. They gave him extra rations. An older woman named Bura joined their group. She had been a scientist on Earth, studying xenobiology. Now she broke rocks like everyone else. Her hands that had once held precision instruments were calloused and scarred. I spent 40 years learning about alien life, she said one night in the barracks. Wanted to understand other species. Build bridges. Now I know the truth. Some species don't want bridges. They want conquest. Not all of them, Taemin said quietly. Some of the prisoners, the aliens, they try to help each other. I've seen it. Because they remember being free, Bora said. Give them enough time here. They'll forget that too. Daesung lay on his bunk and felt the flag against his skin. Every night he checked it, made sure it was still there. His last connection to Earth, his last memory of what humanity had been taught. It was Hana who changed everything. 4 months into his imprisonment, she found him after a work shift. Her face was different, harder. Tomorrow, during afternoon work detail, there's going to be an inspection. Guards get rough during inspections. People die. She looked at him meaningfully. If you're hiding anything, tomorrow would be a bad day for it to be found. I'm not hiding anything. Liar! Hannah grabbed his arm. I've watched you. The way you touch your chest. The way you check yourself every night. You've got something. Something from Earth. They soon pulled away. Leave it alone. Can't. If they find it, they'll kill you and everyone near you. That includes me. She leaned closer. Give it to me. I know the smuggling routes. I can hide it better than you can. No? Then you're a fool and you'll die for nothing. That night, Daesung couldn't sleep. The flag felt heavier than usual. Hana was right. If they found it during inspection, it was over. But giving it up, even temporarily, felt like betraying young Sik. Betraying Earth that the next day came hot and brutal. Guards shouted more than usual. They pulled random prisoners from lines and beat them for no reason except to create fear. An old alien, some species Daesung didn't recognize, was beaten to death simply for moving too slowly. Something snapped inside Daesung. He had watched too much death, too much cruelty, too much forgetting. During the yard time, while guards were distracted with shift changes, he climbed. The yard had a central tower, a guard post that rose 20 meters high. Hand over hand, he pulled himself up the maintenance ladder. His muscles screamed. His hand slipped on metal rungs. Behind him, he heard Hana's voice. What are you doing, you crazy fool? He didn't answer. He reached the top of the tower, the highest point in the yard. Below him, thousands of prisoners looked up. Guards started shouting. Alarms began to wail. Daesung unwrapped the flag from his body. He held it high and let it unfurl in the thin wind. Blue and white, the colors of Earth, bright against the gray prison moon. For 3 minutes, everyone saw it. Human prisoners fell to their knees. Aliens who had never seen Earth stared. Even the guards stopped, confused by this act of defiance. Then they came for him. They tore him from the tower and beat him until his ribs cracked. They dragged him to the interrogation cells and demanded to know where he got the flag, what it meant, where others were hidden. Daesung said nothing. Even when they broke his fingers, even when they put him in darkness so complete, he couldn't tell if his eyes were open or closed, because Hannah had been in the crowd. And when the guards grabbed him, she had grabbed the flag. It was gone now, hidden in the prison's secret networks. Safe. He had kept his promise. The flag survived. And across Carvos 9. Prisoners who had forgotten how to hope whispered about the human who remembered Earth's colors. News traveled fast in the prison networks. By the time Daesung was released from the punishment cells, 3 other prison moons had heard the story. A human. A flag. 3 minutes of defiance. In places where hope was a forgotten word, the story grew and changed and became something bigger than truth. Daesung could barely walk. His ribs were cracked, his fingers healed crooked, and his left eye didn't focus right anymore. But he was alive. The Vrexians had decided he was worth more as a warning than as a corpse. Hana found him in the medical ward, such as it was. Just a room with dirty bunks where prisoners too broken to work waited to either recover or die. You're an idiot, she said, sitting next to his bunk. But her voice was softer than before. A magnificent idiot, but still an idiot. The flag? He croaked. Hidden. Safe. Better than safe. She looked around to make sure no guards were near. We've been making copies. Prisoners who can draw, they sketch it from memory. Others use whatever materials they can find. Cloth scraps, paper, even scratched into metal. The symbol is spreading. That's dangerous. Everything's dangerous. Might as well be dangerous for a reason. Hannah handed him a small piece of fabric. On it, crude but recognizable, was Earth's flag. Blue and white, the circle of the world. There are 50 of these in this prison now. By next week, there will be 100. Meanwhile, far from Carvos 9, the human refugee fleet Sanctuary 7 drifted through empty space. 10,000 survivors, all that remained of humanity's billions. They lived in converted cargo ships and colony vessels, running from the Rexian advance. Hiding in places the Dominion hadn't bothered to conquer yet. Admiral Kyung-ho commanded the fleet from the bridge of the carrier Phoenix. He was 60 years old and tired of running. When the report came through about Carvos 9, about a human prisoner and Earth's flag, he read it 3 times. "Get me intelligence," he ordered. "Everything about this prisoner. Name, background, location." His aide, a young officer named Jinho, pulled up the files. Corporal Dae-soon, Korean Sector Defense Force. Last confirmed position Bizen. Presumed killed in action. But Rexian prison records show a matching prisoner on Carvos 9. Kyung-ho studied the grainy image. An ordinary face. Nothing special. But the report said he had climbed a tower and shown Earth's flag to thousands. That took something beyond ordinary. Can we extract him? Jinho hesitated. The prison moons are heavily guarded. We'd need to. I didn't ask if it was easy. I asked if we can do it. Theoretically, yes. But the cost would be high. We'd have to risk ships we can't afford to lose. Kyung-ho looked at the star charts. At the fleet's dwindling fuel reserves. At the population numbers that dropped every week as people died from disease, despair, and raids they couldn't fight off. "Do it," he said. "We need symbols. We need heroes. We need something to remind people what they're surviving for." Back on Carvos 9, Taemin had discovered something. The prison's communication system was old, built by the Vrexians, but incorporating technology from conquered species. It had weaknesses, gaps, places where a clever person could slip in unnoticed. He told Hana. She told Ba'ara. Ba'ara, who understood systems and networks, confirmed it. They could hack in. Maybe not for long. Maybe only once. But they could broadcast something. What would we broadcast? Ba'ara asked. Hana looked at Dae-soon, who was slowly recovering in the medical ward. We show them what he did. We show them the flag. Every prison moon, every Vrexian outpost, every corner of their communication network. They'll kill us if they find out, Taemin said. They'll kill us anyway. Eventually. Hana smiled. And it was the first real smile Dae-soon had seen on her face. Might as well make it count. They planned carefully. Taemin needed access to a main terminal. Ba'ara needed materials to build a transmitter. Dae-soon needed to heal enough to move. And Hana needed to coordinate with the smuggling network because they needed a distraction big enough to pull guard attention. Away from critical systems. The chance came 3 weeks later. A supply ship arrived, and with it, a prisoner transfer. Chaos at the landing bay. Guards everywhere. Perfect confusion. Tae-min slipped into a guard station. Ba'ara's modified datapad in his hands. His fingers flew over the interface, bypassing security, opening channels. Sweat poured down his face. In the yard, Hana started a fight. Not hard to do. Just push the right prisoner, say the right insult, and suddenly 50 beings were throwing punches. Guards rushed in with stun weapons. More chaos. More distraction. Tae-min found the communication hub. He uploaded the files. Video from security cameras showing Dae-soon climbing the tower. Showing the flag unfurling. 3 minutes of footage that the Vrexians had kept as evidence. Now broadcasting to every prison in the sector. And then Ba'ara's piece. She had convinced other prisoners, scientists and engineers, to help. They had written a message. A simple message in 100 languages. Earth remembers. We remember. Do not forget who you were. The broadcast lasted 4 minutes before the Vrexians shut it down. 4 minutes where every prisoner in 3 star systems saw the flag and heard the message. Riots started that night. Not just on Carvos 9, on all the prison moons that received the broadcast. Prisoners who had given up suddenly remembered they had been something before. Had been free. Had been people. The Vrexians responded with brutal force. Hundreds died. But the riots continued because something had changed. A switch had flipped. People remembered Dodd on Carvos 9. The plan was already in motion. Hannah had used the smuggling network to move weapons and tools into position. They had allies now, not just humans. Aliens from species that had been conquered, broken, nearly erased. All of them saw the flag and recognized what it meant. 3 days, Hannah told Daesung. In 3 days, every prison moon riots at the same time. We'd break out or we'd die trying. And the flag? The original? Goes with you. You're the one who carried it this far. You finished the job. The day came. Morning work shift started normal. Then, at the signal, everything erupted. Prisoners turned on guards. Hidden weapons appeared. Explosions rocked the facility. The riots weren't just anger. They were coordinated, planned. 3 prison moons, all striking together. Daesung fought through the chaos with Hana beside him. Taemin had opened the security doors. Biora had disabled the turrets in Section 7. Other prisoners, whose names Daesung never learned, sacrificed themselves to hold corridors so others could escape. They reached the landing bay. Human ships, small and fast, were already landing. Admiral Kyung-ho had sent his forces. The extraction was happening. Get to the ships, Hannah shouted. She was bleeding from a dozen wounds, but still moving. Go, go, go! Daesung ran with Taemin and Biora. Around them, prisoners of every species rushed for freedom. Rexian guards fired into the crowds. Bodies fell. But there were too many prisoners. Too much chaos. The guards couldn't stop everyone dotted at the boarding ramp. Hannah stopped. I'm not going, she said. What? Yeah, come on. Someone has to seal the blast doors. Keep the guards from following. Buy time. She pushed the flag into Daesung's hands. The original, wrapped carefully in protective cloth. This is yours to carry now. Make sure people remember. Hannah, no. She shoved him toward the ship. Don't waste what I'm giving you. Go. Be the symbol they need. Tell them we didn't die as broken slaves. Tell them we died fighting. Tell them we remembered. The blast doors began to close. Daesung saw Hannah turn back toward the prison, weapon in hand. Saw her face, determined and fierce. Then the doors sealed, and the ship was lifting off. Around them, dozens of ships fled the prison moon. Thousands escaped. Thousands more died. Below, on Carvos 9, fires burned and the prison that had held so many was now a battlefield. Daesung held the flag and watched the prison moon shrink. He thought about Youngsik, who had died protecting this symbol. About Hannah, who had sacrificed everything to give it wings. About all the nameless prisoners who had fought and died so that some would be free. The ship docked with Sanctuary 7. Admiral Kyung-ho was there to meet them. He looked at Daesung, at the flag in his hands, and nodded. Welcome home, Corporal. We have work to do. Daesung looked around at the refugee fleet, at the humans and aliens who had survived, at the flags, crude copies, flying from ships, Earth's colors spreading across the stars. Yes, sir, he said. We do. The refugee fleet Sanctuary 7 was a city in space. 10,000 humans and 3,000 aliens from freed prison worlds. all living in converted ships held together by hope and spare parts. Daesun walked through corridors that smelled like recycled air and unwashed bodies, past families crammed into cargo bays, past children who had never seen Earth but heard stories about blue skies. Admiral Kyung-ho wanted him in meetings. Important people wanted to shake his hand. Camera crews wanted to record him holding the flag. Everyone wanted a piece of the man who had become a symbol. Daesun hated it. "I'm a soldier," he told the admiral after the 5th meeting in 3 days. "Not a politician. Not a performer. Let me fight." "You are fighting," Kyung-ho said, gesturing at the propaganda posters being printed. Daesun's face, holding the flag with words like "remember" and "resist." "This is how we fight now. With symbols. With hope. Hope doesn't win wars. No, but it keeps people alive until we can win." Kyung-ho pulled up star charts. The prison breaks worked. 3 moons. 8,000 freed. But we lost 2 ships doing it. We can't afford many more victories like that. Daesun looked at the charts. The fleet's position, always moving, always hiding. Rexian patrol routes marked in red. The galaxy was mostly red now. A voice cut in from the door. Maybe he's right. Maybe he should fight. A woman stood there, short and solid, with pilot's gear and grease stains on her hands. Her name tag said Ji-woo. "Captain Park," Kyung-ho said. "This is a private meeting. I'm a squadron leader if you're going to waste him on combat duty." Ji-woo looked at Daesun. "You know how to shoot. Do you know how to fly?" "No. Shame. We need pilots more than we need posters." She turned to leave, then paused. "For what it's worth, what you did on that prison moon. That mattered. Just don't let them turn you into something you're not." After she left, Kyung-ho sighed. She lost her whole family on Earth. Mother, father, 2 sisters, a husband. She's angry. "We're all angry," Daesun said. Over the following weeks, Daesun found himself drawn to the flight deck. Ji-woo ran a tight squadron, 6 fighters held together by willpower and illegal repairs. She didn't treat him special, didn't ask about the flag or call him a hero. Just put him to work loading munitions and cleaning fuel lines. "You want to be useful?" she said. "Learn to be crew. We need crew more than we need celebrities." So he learned. Taemin was there too, working on ship systems, using his skills with electronics to keep aging fighters operational. Mayura had joined the science team, helping analyze Rexian technology from captured equipment. One night, Ji-woo found Daesun in the hangar, staring at the flag case he kept in his locker. "You still carrying that around?" she said. "Not a question. It's my responsibility. Must get heavy." She sat down next to him. "Want to know what I think? I think you're afraid. Afraid that if you put it down, if you stop carrying it, you'll forget. Forget Earth, forget everyone who died. Maybe. We all carry ghosts," Ji-woo said quietly. "Every person on this fleet. We carry the dead with us. The question is whether we carry them as weight that drowns us or as memory that drives us forward." Before Daesun could respond, alarms screamed through the ship. Red lights flashed. A voice over the intercom. "All pilots to stations. This is not a drill." Ji-woo was running before the announcement finished. Daesun followed Dot in the briefing room. Commander Sun-hee was pulling up tactical displays. She was the fleet's special forces leader, famous for impossible missions. Her face was scarred from burns, her left arm mechanical below the elbow. "Intelligence intercept," she said without preamble. "The Vrexians are building something. A weapon, big enough to destroy star systems. They call it the Vorakis engine." The room went silent. "It's on Vrexia Prime, their fortress world. Heavily defended. And according to our sources, it's nearly complete. Once operational, They'll use it to wipe out every resistant stronghold, every refugee fleet, everyone who still fights. How long? Kyung-ho asked. 3 weeks. Maybe 4. Can we destroy it? Sun-hee smiled, but it wasn't a happy expression. That's why I'm here. We need volunteers for a strike mission. Small team. Infiltrate the fortress. Destroy the power core. It's one way. No extraction. No rescue. You go in knowing you're not coming out. The room erupted in voices. Arguments, volunteers, tactical debates. Tetsung stood and his voice cut through the noise. I'll go. Everyone stopped. You're not military, Sun-hee said. You're a corporal from a ground unit. This is special forces work. I'm a soldier who's nothing left to lose. And I carried Earth's flag through a war, through prison, through hell. If this is where that journey ends, then this is where it ends. He looked at Admiral Kyung-ho. You wanted me to be a symbol? Fine. Let me be a symbol of what humanity does when extinction comes calling. We fight to the last breath. Sun-hee studied him, then nodded. You're in. But you follow my orders. No heroics. No solo acts. We work as a team or we don't work at all. Ji-woo stood up. If he's going, I'm flying the transport. Ji-woo, Kyung-ho started. Someone has to get them there and cover the exit, even if there is no exit. Might as well be someone who knows how to fly through hell. Taemin stood next. You'll need someone who can hack Vrexian systems. Someone who broke into their prison network. That's me. More volunteers stood. A Methrek fighter who had lost his homeworld. A quorum engineer who understood energy systems. A Halixian scout who could navigate the fortress. Species that had been enemies before the Vrexians came, now standing together against a common threat. Sun-hee looked at them all. You understand what you're volunteering for. This isn't glory. This isn't heroism. This is dying so others can live. We know, Daesung said. He thought about young Sek, about Hannah, about everyone who had died carrying the flag forward. That's what soldiers do. The next 2 weeks were training. Combat drills, system layouts, contingency plans. Sun-hee pushed them hard. They learned to fight as a unit. Human, Methrek, Quorum, Halixian. Different species, same purpose. The night before the mission, Daesung recorded a message. He wrapped it around the flag, the original flag that had survived so much. Spoke into the camera about Earth, about what humanity had been, about love and art and stupid arguments over sports and the smell of street food and rain on concrete. Everything that made Earth real. They can take our world, he said to the camera. They can kill us all, but they cannot erase that we existed, cannot erase that we mattered. To anyone watching this, if the Vrexians have won, if humanity is gone, remember this. We were here. We loved. We fought. And we never stopped being human, even at the very end. He sealed the recording with the flag and gave it to Baora. If I don't come back, he said. When you don't come back, she corrected gently. I'll make sure it survives. Make sure the message spreads. Thank you. The strike team assembled in the hangar. 12 soldiers. 1 transport ship. Ji-woo at the controls, checking systems with hands that didn't shake even though everyone knew this was a suicide mission. Admiral Kyung-ho came to see them off. He shook each person's hand. When he reached Daesung, he paused. You know what you've become to these people. To this fleet, a symbol. More than that. A reminder that ordinary people can do extraordinary things. That one person, standing up, can change everything. Kyung-ho saluted. It has been an honor. Daesung saluted back. Sir, the transport launched. Behind them, the fleet watched and waited. Ahead, through dark space, lay Rexia Prime, the fortress world. The heart of the enemy. Sun-Hee checked her weapon one last time. Everyone understand the mission. We get in, we destroy the core. The weapon never activates. We don't get out. But the fleet survives. The resistance continues. Questions? No one spoke. Good. And let's go be heroes. The ship jumped to hyperspace, carrying 12 soldiers toward their deaths and toward victory. In the cargo hold, wrapped carefully, the flag of Earth flew one last time toward battle. Dae-soon closed his eyes and thought about the blue sky over Bizen, wondered if anyone would remember what blue looked like. Decided it didn't matter. Memory wasn't just about individuals. It was about species, about struggle, about the refusal to be erased. Here we go. Ji-woo's voice came over the intercom. Welcome to hell. Please keep your hands and feet inside the vehicle at all times. Despite everything, Dae-soon smiled. Humans could joke even falling into death. That was worth remembering too. Rexia Prime looked like a metal world wrapped in storms. The fortress covered the entire planet, layer upon layer of defensive systems. Ships patrolled the orbit. Weapons platforms tracked every approach vector. Nothing got through without permission. Ji-woo flew through it anyway. She used every trick she knew, every illegal modification Taemin had installed, and a lot of pure luck. The transport screamed through atmospheric entry, shields burning, hull shaking apart. 30 seconds to landing zone. She shouted, "This is going to be rough." Rough was an understatement. They crashed more than landed, the transport tearing a trench through a maintenance yard before slamming into a fuel depot. Alarms screamed. Rexian guards were already responding. Sun-Hee kicked open the hatch. "Move, move!" The strike team poured out. Dae-soon hit the ground shooting. The Methrek fighter, his name was Torvin, threw plasma charges at guard towers. The Quorum engineer, called Zilna, deployed a portable shield generator. Chaos and fire and 12 soldiers fighting through an army. They fought through 3 security zones. Lost 2 team members in the first zone when automated defenses caught them in a crossfire. Lost 1 more in the second zone to a Rexian elite guard who took 4 soldiers to bring down. By the time they reached the third zone, they were 9 soldiers covered in blood and burns. Taemin worked frantically at an access panel. "I can open the door to the core chamber, but the security is heavy. Once I unlock it, every guard in the sector will know where we are." "Do it," Sun-Hee ordered. "We're already dead. Might as well finish the job." The door opened. They ran into the fortress steps, through corridors that thrummed with power, past windows showing the Verakus engine being assembled. It was massive. A sphere of energy contained by technology, meant to tear apart solar systems. In 2 weeks, it would have been operational. They wouldn't let it get that far. The core chamber lay behind one final door. The Helixian scout, whose name Dae-soon had learned was Isith, went forward to check the passage. He triggered a trap. The blast tore him apart and collapsed the corridor behind them. "No going back now," Sun-Hee said grimly. 6 soldiers left. She used the last explosive charge to blow the door. They pushed through. The chamber was enormous. The core hung in the center, a sphere of contained power 20 meters across. Energy crackled around it. The heat was incredible. And waiting for them, standing between them and the core, was Kelthrum. The war priest hadn't changed. Still tall, still in elaborate armor, still radiating a sense of absolute confidence. When he spoke, his translator made his words sound almost sad. "The human with the flag. Of course it would be you. You remember me," Dae-soon said. "I remember all worthy enemies. I took you from your burning world. Sent you to Carvos 9. I thought imprisonment would break you. Instead, You inspired revolution. Kelthron gestured at the core. And now you come here to destroy our greatest achievement. You humans are remarkable in your persistence. Then let us pass. Let us destroy this weapon. End the war. I cannot. But I want you to understand something. Kelthron stepped forward. The Vrexian Dominion has conquered 847 worlds. We have faced countless species, countless warriors. Some fought well. Some died bravely. But you humans, you do something no other species does. You inspire hope in others. And that's why you need to exterminate us. Yes, Kelthron's voice was matter-of-fact. Hope breeds resistance. Resistance threatens order. Your flag, your symbol, it is spread to 17 conquered worlds. Riots, rebellions, species we thought broken suddenly remembering who they were. All because one human refused to forget. You understand why we cannot allow this to continue. Sun-He raised her weapon. Enough talking. Kill him. The firefight was brutal. Kelthron was fast, his armor nearly impenetrable. He killed Torvin with a blade through the chest. Zilna's shield generator exploded under his weapon fire. The other soldiers fell one by one. Sun-He fought like a demon, trading wounds with Kelthron until they were both bleeding. She looked at Daesung. Get to the core, now. Commander, that's an order, Corporal. She threw herself at Kelthron, grappling with the war priest. Go! Daesung ran. Behind him, he heard Sun-He scream. Heard her weapon fire one last time. Then silence. He reached the core controls with Tae-Min. The boy's hands flew over the interface. I can overload it. Create a chain reaction. But someone needs to stay here. Manually override the safeties. Keep the process going. How long? 5 minutes. Once it starts, you have 5 minutes to get out before it explodes. Daesung looked back at the door. At the bodies of the team. At the impossible distance to the ship. Jiwoo was still out there, waiting for a pickup that would never come. You should go, he told Tae-Min. You're young. You have time left. So do you. No, I've been dead since Bizen. Just took a while to finish. Daesung smiled. Go. Tell them what we did here. Tell them the weapon never fired. Tell them humanity remembered. Taemin's eyes filled with tears. I will. I promise. Good. Now run. The boy ran. Daesung watched him disappear into the smoke and chaos. Then he turned to the controls. Began the override sequence. The core started to pulse, its energy building toward critical mass. He pulled out the flag, unwrapped it carefully, held it in his hands one last time. Then he activated his communicator, broadcasting on all frequencies. Every Vrexian channel, every resistance channel, every corner of the sector that could receive a transmission. This is Corporal Daesung of Earth, he said. If you can hear this, if you can see this, then listen. This is the flag of my world. Blue like our oceans, white like our clouds. It represents every human who ever lived. Every city we built, every song we sang, every dream we had. He held the flag up to the camera on his helmet. Let it fill the frame. The Vrexian Dominion believes they can erase us. They burned our world, killed our people, tried to make us forget who we were. But they failed. Because we remember. As long as one person remembers, as long as one symbol survives, they cannot erase us. The core pulsed harder. Warning lights flashed. 2 minutes left. To every species watching this. To every conquered world. To every prisoner in every camp. You are not forgotten. You are not erased. The Vrexians can take your monuments, your flags, your symbols. They cannot take your memory. They cannot take your identity. Resistance is remembering who you were. He wrapped the flag around himself like a shroud. My name is Daesung. I was born on Earth. I lived in a city called Bizun. I had a family. I had friends. I had a world that smelled like ocean salt and sounded like traffic and felt like home. All of that is gone now. But I remember. And because I remember, it still exists. In memory, in resistance, in refusing to be erased. 1 minute. This is Earth. We existed. We loved. We dreamed. They can take everything else, but they cannot take this truth. We were here. We mattered. We will be remembered. The core began to scream, its energy building to impossible levels. Daesung held the flag tight and closed his eyes. Thought about his mother's kimchi, his father's motorcycle, his sister's laughter, Young Sik's orders, Hana's sacrifice, Jiwoo's jokes. Every person, every moment that made him who he was. To humanity, he whispered. To Earth, to remembering. The core exploded. The Verakus engine tore itself apart. The explosion ripped through Vrexia Prime's fortress, destroying the weapon and crippling the Vrexian war machine in one massive detonation. The shock wave could be seen from orbit. Tae-Min made it to Jiwoo's transport. She flew through the explosion's edge, shields failing, hull burning. They barely escaped. Behind them, the fortress burned, but Daesung's transmission had gone out. On 17 worlds, conquered peoples watched a human hold a flag and refuse to be erased. Resistance movements exploded into action. The Vrexian Dominion, so confident in its control, suddenly faced rebellion on every front. 50 years later, an old woman stood at a monument on Terra Nova, humanity's new colony world. Her grandchildren played at her feet, pointing at the statue. A man in armor, holding a flag, his face determined and peaceful. Jiwoo had gotten old. Her hair was white. Her hand shook. But her eyes were still sharp as she read the inscription to her grandchildren. This is Earth. We existed. We loved. We dreamed. We will be remembered. Grandmother, one child asked. Did you know him? The man with the flag? Yes, he was my friend. He was just a soldier. Quiet. Ordinary. But he carried a symbol when symbols mattered most. She looked up at the statue. He taught us that memory is an act of resistance. That as long as we remember who we were, we can never truly be erased. Is that why we have the flag? Another child asked, pointing at the replica flying above the monument. Yes, it flies on every human world now. On alien worlds too. Species that were conquered, broken, nearly destroyed. They all remember the human who refused to forget, who showed them that symbols matter. That resistance begins with remembering. The children were quiet for a moment. Then one asked, what happened to the original flag? The one he carried? Jiwoo smiled. It was never recovered. Lost in the explosion. But maybe that's fitting. The symbol spread. The idea survived. And Daesung became more than a man. He became proof that ordinary people can change everything. That night, on Terra Nova, the flags flew under alien stars. In the museums, Daesung's transmission played on repeat. His words, his image, the flag held high.